Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time it is for you. This morning I want to talk about a part of chapter 13, which is the body of your speech. The body being the most important part because you need to know what you're going to introduce and what to summarize in your conclusion. So let's start with the body. The body are built off of main points. If you look at the speech on the left here, you can see our topic here and our thesis statement. We need to know what about zombies we're going to talk about. Exactly, and here we're going to talk about that they are out there, that they're factual. We could talk about other things about zombies, about their chemical makeup or their lifespan, but today our thesis statement is going to specifically talk about what the main points are going to be. Let me show you the hierarchy here of our thesis statement, and we have 3 main points with each of those with subpoints. You can see here on our outline how that fits up. You may want to pause that for a minute to review those 2 things. Let's talk about the subpoints though, the most important, and the meat, the actual meat, the main source of information. Got to get the thoughts square in my head. Thanks. So on our subpoints, we need to utilize research. When we use this research on zombies, it's mostly going to be research about pop culture. Other research methods would be through newspaper articles and academic journals, but it depends on your topic. When you're researching, you need to make sure that it affects your main point. If we found a story about zombies on the beach, it may be too off base, a little bit left field when we're talking about zombies. It may not be true to the zombie culture and the zombie purist. So make sure those subpoints fit in. If we look at the subpoints up here to where to find them, most of those fit in pretty darn well. It makes you hope you have a single level house. Basements are scary. Once you find your subpoints, the thing you can do is arrange them so they fit all together. This also has to do with your thesis statement. In a specific thesis statement, you could talk chronologically about the history of zombies, starting with old folklore, and then maybe some early modern film depiction in silent films or old black and white, and then end up with modern TV depictions like The Walking Dead. A topical pattern would work if we talked about how zombies are born, their lifespan, and if they ever do die. The topics of a zombie life. And then a spattle pattern would be something completely off the board. Something like the DNA makeup of the zombie's biological gestation of blood. The second topic would be where do zombies grow the best, the type of climate and environment. And the third thing could be where on your body are you most likely to contract zombie disease if you're bit. All over the board, kind of crazy, but some topics will require crazy. Some topics will be so widespread and so diverse, you're going to use that spattle pattern to describe them. Next part of the body of your speech is how to transition between points. You've probably heard somebody come up to you and say, I need to tell you 3 things. First, you're great. Second, you're great because of what you do. And third, you're fabulous. And also you've heard people come up and just get diarrhea of the mouth and throw a bunch of stuff out there. With these transition, it tells you exactly what they're talking about and how they're going to proceed. Let me show you an example. Between the main points first is where I would go, and we would talk about first, we've talked about where to find them. So next, let me describe the protection you would need while you're hunting them. The next thing is internal previews. Once we talk about protection, we would want to say something like, so let's talk about protection against zombies. We're going to talk about headgear, body armor to wear, and something to wear over your hands. Once we went through that internal preview, we would use signposts to break those up, just like we did between the main points. So we would say, now that we've shown headgear and it's important, next we'll talk about body armor. Now that we've talked about body armor, once you understand that, we can see how important hand armor is. And at the very end of that main point, you should put a summary. Protection is very important, and I've shown that through headgear, body armor, and hand protection. Those transitions and summaries can get kind of tricky, but with a little bit of practice, you'll get them down. And by writing a good outline, you'll be able to see how they progress through those steps. A little bit of practice, you'll be great. So look for the next video on outlines, and they will summarize everything good. Thank you.